whether it's been 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years. I would say 10 decades, but that might be pushing it a little bit. Episode 969 of Diz Runs Radio is a quick tip episode. Today's quick tip, it's okay to take a break. So today's topic, today's little quick tip idea is maybe not the most fun quick tip. We'll try to make it a little bit fun. We'll try to keep it light, but it is a little bit heavier topic, and it's something that I know some folks have struggled with in the past. I'm sure that maybe some folks are maybe even struggling with it a bit right now, and it is the idea of willingly taking a break from running. And we've talked about it at various times over the years, especially when it comes to the idea of like burnout, things like that, of maybe taking a week or two off, just not running for a couple weeks, maybe even a month, and how, that just little bit of space, a little bit of time to breathe can be that thing that really ignites your passion to get back into running, makes it exciting again, makes it something that you want to do. That still applies, of course, but today I'm talking a little bit different scenario where maybe you want to run, but life's just a little bit crazy. Coming out of the pandemic, maybe coming back into the pandemic, who knows, to be determined still. But since everything shut down due to COVID in March of 2020, it's been a tough time for everybody. I think that's safe to say. I hope that's not stepping on anybody's toes. Everybody's been impacted in multiple ways. Some have had it, quote unquote, easier. Some have certainly had it not easy at all. But just all the uncertainty, all the things. And as we're coming back out of it, that seems like that should be a great time to really get back into it. For some it is, for a lot it is. For some, it's been a struggle to readapt to something that pseudo looks like normal, figuring out how to balance running back into the mix, kids going back to school, the uncertainty there. Like, for any of a number of very valid reasons, life can get crazy. Right? I mean, we've talked about that before. We've talked about that many times. So we'll continue to talk about life, doing life things. But when life gets crazy, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes something's got to go. And I think for the majority of runners, at least myself included, and maybe a lot of you as well, the idea of running being the thing that's got to give is kind of a non-starter. Right? Like I know for myself, and I've kind of made light about it, but it really is true. If I'm not running for a few days, especially if I'm jonesing to go out for a run and it just hasn't happened, like maybe we've never gotten to the point where Rebecca has literally kicked me out of the house and told me to go run, but like I think the reason that hasn't yet happened is because I've known that like if I don't get my ass out of the house soon, we're going to have a problem in the house, and we don't want that. Like, I love my wife. I love my daughter. But sometimes I know that if I don't get out and get a run in, there's going to be some unintended fireworks, and we're going to try to avoid those, right? Like, that's part of having a somewhat harmonious household. So I go. And no matter how crazy life gets, no matter how stressful things are in the house, with the business, with health scares, with family issues, outside of just the three of us, but our, extended families, things like that. I'm like, me going for a run is going to help me. But for some of you, and again, and this isn't a bad thing. This isn't any type of disparaging or it's just, we're different. We're people and we're different. And some of us, like we all have the things that work and things that don't for us. And for some of us, getting to that point where you're stretched real thin, where life is really happening at a level that is unsustainable, something's got to give. And if running is the thing that needs to give, that's okay. That's okay. And again, for those of you that can't wrap your head around that, and I somewhat put myself in that camp as well, this episode really isn't directed at you. I'll just, come right out and say it. Feel free to keep listening, of course. Feel free to maybe kind of hear some things that maybe don't apply directly to your running, but maybe this is one of those metaphor situations where running might apply to some other area of your life, some other thing that might need to give. Hopefully not now, but maybe somewhere down in the future. Hopefully not in the future either, but maybe. But if you're really struggling with getting your miles in right now and doing all the other things in life, I guess I'm just here to tell you that taking a break from running is okay. Like if that's the self-care that you need so that you can just relax once in a while, maybe get more than 4 hours of sleep at night, maybe have a few minutes of silence because you're still waking up at the same time, but instead of going for your 40-minute run in the morning before the house wakes up and everything goes crazy, you just want to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and just, and maybe that's what you need more than you need those miles right now. And if that's okay, if that's what you need, then that's what you need to do. That's like saying that's okay almost feels like I'm underselling it. Like that's what has to be done. But if you're on the fence, if you're resting a little bit, if you're not sure, like yeah, that's probably what I need. But what about some of the concerns that you might have? I'll try to address a couple of those. I'm sure there's many others, and if there's a conversation that we can have or that you would like to have to help, maybe just kind of air some grievances, if you will, and vent a little bit and kind of help to get to that conclusion of like maybe running's got to give and that's okay. I'm here. My inbox is open. My DMs are open. Whatever you need. If we need to jump on a phone call, we can jump on a phone call. My treat. Okay? If you're struggling with wrestling with whether or not taking a break from running right now is something that is the right thing for you to do, and you would like to talk about it, come on down. But here are some things to keep in mind, some things that I think are probably maybe the more common things that we might as runners might struggle with when it comes to, what if I take a break, what does that mean? Here are three of the big highlights I think that I've heard from folks. I've heard from athletes that I coach. I've heard from folks that I've talked to on social media that they're concerned about. One is something that maybe this is a bad thing. I don't know. But as runners, we tie a lot of our identity into our running. Instead of recognizing that we are just people who also run. Just like we're people who also do XYZ as a profession. Just like we're people that also, have relationships. Some of us have kids. Some of us don't. But those things, it's easy for us to put those labels on us and define us, and I do it too. How many times have I said already this episode? For us as runners, maybe the better terminology would be for us who are people who also run. But all that kind of disclaimer aside, taking a break from running doesn't mean you're no longer a runner. It doesn't mean you're excommunicated from the running community. As far as I'm concerned, once you are a runner, once you've slapped that label on yourself, once you describe yourself as a person who runs, you're always a runner. You just might not be running right now, and that's okay. That's okay. If taking that little bit of a break is what you need to keep the rest of your life on the rails, you're still a runner to me. Absolutely still a runner to me. And if anybody else is going to try to tell you otherwise, oh, you're not a runner anymore, I'll try to, I already kind of have made this PG-13. We'll try not to make this any worse rated than it already is. But I've got some words that I would tell that person. Okay? So once a runner, always a runner. Don't feel like if you're taking a break, and maybe it's an extended break. Maybe it's a 6-month break. Maybe it's a year break. Maybe it's one of those breaks that you don't know how long it's going to be, but once life gets back on the rails, you'll find your way back. Guess what? You're still a runner. You're still welcome in the Facebook group as far as I'm concerned. You're still one of us. You'll always be one of us. So if you're worried about, if I stop running, what is that? Like it doesn't say anything about you. It says that you're doing what you need to do to take care of yourself right now. And you're still a runner. Okay? Other things to consider, other concerns that I've heard people have in the past when wrestling with the idea of taking a break from running. or maybe this isn't a concern as much, but just a reminder that running isn't going anywhere. Taking a break from running, whether it's I got to get through this 6-month period to finish out my PhD process, or to we're moving across the country for a job change. We just got to get settled, and so it's going to be probably 3 months before life settles down a little bit, and I'm comfortable in a new gig, and I can get back to running. Maybe it's an indefinite break, but in any event, running's not going anywhere. All right, so taking a break from running isn't necessarily a permanent decision. Now, of course, if you take a break and you decide you really want to take up CrossFit, or you really want to take up walking through the neighborhood, or Peloton classes, or just riding your bike in general, or mountain biking, or hiking, or any of a number of other activities, exercise modalities that scratch the itch, that are good for your health, that do what running currently does for so many of us, cool. Taking a break from running can be a permanent decision. As far as I'm concerned, you're still a runner, but you can take that break as long as you need, or as long as you want. But if/when you decide that, hey, you know what? I might want to put those running shoes back on. Do it. Do it. Whether it's been 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years. I would say 10 decades, but that might be pushing it a little bit. But however long it takes, if you're ready to come back to running, or at least ready to dip your toes back in the water, we got our arms are wide open. We're ready. We're not that we ever kicked you out, but hey, come back and join us. Come back and join us for a run. Come back to going out there and doing a 5K, doing a 10K, training for a longer race if that's what you want to do. Just run around the block. Whatever. Running's not going anywhere. If we learned anything during the pandemic, it's that runners are going to run. People who run are going to continue to run. Maybe you don't have races on the calendar, but we're going to keep logging our miles. And when you take a break and you're ready to come back, you can keep logging your miles. And hopefully, God willing, there'll be races if you want to jump back into a race at some point down the road as well. So don't feel like taking a break from running is a precursor to a permanent decision of, well, now I'm not going to run anymore. That's your choice, but it's far from guaranteed. You can come back anytime. Last of the big 3 kind of concerns that I'm going to highlight today is maybe one that weighs on people the most. And that is the idea that you're going to lose some fitness when it comes to taking an extended break from running. But I'm here to tell you can get it back. All right. So, it would be disingenuous to say that you're not going to lose anything if you don't run for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 months, 8 months, 6 years, whatever. You're going to lose some running fitness. Even if you're in the pool consistently, you're hiking consistently, you're biking consistently, you're rollerblading consistently, you're crossfitting consistently, like whatever you're doing to maintain or build fitness, or whatever you stumble into or you find that you enjoy doing for your mental health, your physical health from an exercise perspective, that's going to help to mitigate some of those fitness losses. Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is that swimming doesn't build your running-specific fitness as much as running does. Insert cycling, insert strength training, insert yoga, insert whatever. So when you come back to running, however long your break is, assuming you come back to running, if you come back to running, you're not going to have the same level of running fitness as you had when you left. But you can get it back. You can, the fitness that you lose, you can find again. Now, again, I'm not going to blow smoke at you. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy peasy and it's just going to take, X number of runs or X number of miles or whatever to get all your fitness back. For some of us, it comes back pretty quickly. For some of us, it takes a fair bit longer than we would prefer. But one way or another, you can get your fitness back. You can make up for the fitness that you've lost. Okay? It's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. But you can get your fitness back if you decide to come back for running. And in some cases, not saying, but I'm just saying, you might find more than what you lost. You might take a couple-year break, come back, build yourself back up, and then keep on going and end up with new PRs, new distances that you've run before, feeling stronger, feeling more accomplished than you ever did before. It can happen. So if you're wrestling with the idea of maybe I need to take a break from running, life is just crazy right now. There's so much stress. There's so much anxiety. There's so much concern and unknown, or whatever the stew is that you're in right now. And again, I mean, it's all of us are in various levels of the stew at all times. And for some of us, when something's got to give, it might be running. If that's something you're wrestling with, hear this. You'll always be one of us. Once you're a runner, you're always a runner, as far as I'm concerned. Running's not going anywhere. So if/when you're ready to come back to running, you can come back. And if you decide to come back to running, the fitness that you lost, you can find it again. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. But you can absolutely find it again. So my closing thought for today, and it kind of ties back into a quick tip from, I don't know, was it last week? Was it a couple weeks ago? I guess it was just last week. That wasn't even necessarily intended, but hey, sometimes things just work out. Is to trust yourself. Trust your gut. If you're looking at the situation that you're in right now, and you're like, daggum, I need a break. I need to not stress about miles. I need to not stress about paces. I just need a break from running. Take it. Take it. Trust yourself. Be careful about talking to others, especially your running friends, because we all know how running friend peer pressure works. And even if your friends don't mean it in a bad way, like, they're probably going to try to talk you into continuing to run. But if you know that you need that break, take it. And if you want to talk to me about it, like I said earlier, I'm here. And I promise I'm not going to try to convince you to just tough it out and keep grinding. Probably not going to try to convince you of anything. I'll just listen, ask a couple questions, and hopefully let you decide, let you figure out what the right call is for you right now, whether it's to take a break or not. But if you're thinking about needing a break from running, take it, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, on that semi-somber note, what do you think? What say you? Have you ever taken a break from running? Are you like me, where something else is going to give before running gives, because running is a key component to everything else going on in my life? Somewhere in between, somewhere in the middle. What are your thoughts from today? At DizRuns on Twitter, at DizRuns on Instagram. You can also send an email to dizruns@gmail.com. You can also head over to the show notes for today, dizruns.com/969. Couple of memes, couple of GIFs. Not as much today. Kind of a short show notes, short blog post, whatever you want to call it today. Shorter than some of the other ones, which means not as many nonsensical things in there. But you can check out what's there. And, of course, there's that comment section down at the bottom. There's also the contact form on the website, which you can get to from any of the pages on the website. If you want to reach out, if you want to shoot me a note, something to talk about, something that you're struggling with from today or related to today, like I said, I'm here for you. Happy to try to just listen and talk a little bit and see if that doesn't help. So you can find that there. You can also, if you're on the YouTubes, you can leave a comment down in the comment section. But that's that for today. Thanks again for listening. For those that actually make it to the end and hear this every week, thank you for listening. I appreciate the time, appreciate the attention. Thank you for taking me with you. And until next time, y'all, be well. Take good care. Thanks one last time for listening. And we'll talk soon, all right? See you.